How to make extremely good money from business of wars. Know anything about war? They'll say it has something to do with democracy, pride, or someone else not liking our freedom. Do you want to know what it's all about? See what? A kid from Arkansas defending his country because he is a good citizen. I see an M16, a mask, gloves that don't catch fire, and body armor. I see 17,500. That much is needed to prepare one American soldier. In Iraq and Afghanistan, more than 2 million troops fought. The air conditioning bills for those wars cost the American people $4.5 billion a year. That's the point of war. War is a business. Anyone who tells you otherwise is either lying or not smart. In a major escalation of relations between the US and Iran, the top Iranian general was killed in an airstrike while leaving Baghdad airport. This could bring the country to the brink of a full-scale war. Now, most people get very scared when they see scary ads like this on TV. But you and I know something else. You're very excited about this war, even if it leads to another big war in the Middle East, or even World War III. Forget about your values, this is how to sound the shovels of World War XX. In 2003, when the war of Iraq was at its worst, the US had about 150,000 soldiers on the ground. Also, the US government doesn't have to buy 17,500 worth of gear for each member of this army. No. To win the war and not look like total idiots on the world stage, they also have to provide food, shelter, water, plumbing, transportation, and everything else. This is a nightmare for planning. The bigger issue is that the government does not make or provide any of the things. In other words, these goods and services have to be traded with regular people like you and me at some time. And US government contracts are how the government lets people and businesses offer these goods and services. When everything was over, the US had spent almost $5 trillion on the war. Guys, if there were $5 trillion, someone had to get all of that money. Who, though? Yes, there are big companies like Boeing, Lockheed, and Halliburton that get the big military jobs. And unless you can make 100 million in attack jets, you have almost no chance of being able to compete with them. How are you going to make money if we start World War III? See, the bad thing about these huge defense firms is that they won't waste time with small orders like a few thousand guns here, or a few pallets of ammunition there. If you can build whole military bases for billions of dollars, why waste your time making a few thousand to a few $1 million? With an 8-figure salary to live on, why waste your company's time and resources on these small jobs? And this is what David and Ephraim, two 20-year-olds from Miami, did. Now comes war dogs. War dogs are regular people like you and me. When the big companies don't want to work on government contracts because they're too small, we take them, offer a competitive price, do the work no matter what, and make a nice profit. We could live a pretty nice life if we made a bigger 30%, which is $180,000. Boeing and Lockheed would laugh at our profit. All of this was done, by the way, without ever going to war. And in the first year that David and Ephraim worked together, they got over 100 of these gold standard US contracts, worth a total of over $10 million. Jesus, and for being 20 years old, they were doing pretty well with selling guns. Okay, and by 2007, the US was running out of ammunition to send to their allies fighting in Afghanistan. David and Ephraim won a $298 million deal. That was much better than any other deal they had ever had. What's their secret? They were able to find old, broken, and substandard Chinese ammo from the Cold War that was sitting in Albania. The only trouble was that the US did not allow China to have any weapons. So getting Chinese ammunition to meet a US contract was against the law. That didn't stop our very enterprising war dogs, though. Instead of giving up, they changed the way the ammunition was packed, so no one would know it came from China. That sounds like it should be against the law, and they almost got away with it, too. If not for the bad press about two 20-year-olds who won a huge military contract by bidding much less than their rivals. Darn. David was given 14 months of probation and 7 months of house arrest. Ephraim was given 4 years in federal jail. The important thing to remember about this story is not that making money off of war is always wrong. This is what you need to remember. First, the military-industrial complex and U.S. government contracts can make the war dogs, the little guys, a lot of money. 2, as long as there's money to be made, big fights will probably happen in the future so that people can make money. In other words, I want to tell you that your job is pretty safe. Third, the government is more likely to give up when there is a bigger fight. This means that there is more money to be made when there is more violence. The fourth and most important thing to learn from David and Ephraim is this: do not get caught. Let's say that World War III is coming up soon. What steps do you need to take to become a war dog and get a small but acceptable piece of the military-industrial complex? The 300 million deal between David and Ephraim may sound like a lot of money, but it's actually less than 0.006% of what the U.S. government has spent on war since 2001. To sum up, there are lots of jobs for U.S. war dogs everywhere. The Navy needs rocket launchers, but the Army needs more 9mm ammunition. On a main website called sam.gov, those posts were like Craigslist ads. Then, anyone can go to this website, look at the open contracts, and put in a bid with how much they want to charge. There are real contracts that you can look at right now that match the two cases I just gave. Right now, this website has almost 100,000 contracts from almost every part of the government. They come in all kinds and sizes. This is your gold mine for when World War III comes around. This is the website you should look at all day and night for those unique war dog money-making chances. Now is the time to place a bid on that perfect deal that fits your criteria for what you can do. It's time to start digging. This is where your talent will really shine. The government wants the person who bids the least to get the job. How much lower can you go? Where can you get the most affordable guns and gear? In order to get an edge over your competitors, can you find out what they are bidding? Is it possible to cut corners somewhere the government won't see? If you think your price is good enough, all you have to do is fill out the form on the contract and email it to them. Let's say you need a deal. That's great, here's a gold star. You don't get paid until it's done, though, so it's not over yet. It's now your job to make sure that all of these contracts' prices are met. Just like with any other business, the U.S. government will be more likely to give you more jobs in the future. If you build a good relationship with them, good job. But if you do really badly, the government can cancel your contract. This is especially likely if you're a war dog and don't have as many ties as the big boys. Sir, I need you to help us out with this a bit. As I stand in the crack in the world, I have to work with you to protect your rights. That would mean you lose all the money from that deal, and might not be able to get money from other contracts either. It goes without saying that you have to be ready to do anything to keep these promises. Like David and Ephraim, once you finish your first job, the U.S. will use the weapons and gear you give them to do whatever they want, like bombing innocent villages or killing U.S. soldiers. You just keep doing it and making money during the war while other people die. Thanks for your help. You've done a great job because in just 4 easy steps, you have everything you need to make money from World War III. It's not always rosy, though, just like any other business. As long as the U.S. doesn't start another major invasion or declare World War III, the world's governments and the contracts that come after them won't be as desperate. The demand won't be as serious and life or death. They'll pay more attention to how well you keep your contracts, which means that poor war dogs like you and me will have fewer chances to make money and more opportunities to get paid. If you're watching this right now, you should do what the other big war profiteers do. Don't just pray for war, push for war. If you liked this video and learned something from it, first watch it all the way through. Also, please give the YouTube system a nice boost in the comments below. I think we can all agree that YouTube won't push this stuff as much. Even if you just leave a message or click like, it helps the channel a lot and I'd really appreciate it. Second, just click subscribe to see more movies like this one, where we break down businesses from the past, the present, and the future.